In this video, we're going to be talking about derivatives of exponential functions. There are four general formulas. The first one is the derivative of e raised to the power of x will be still e raised to the power of x. The second one is e raised to the power function of x will be e raised to the power function of x multiplied by the derivative of the function of x. This is basically the chain rule for exponential. The third one here will be a raised to the power of x will be a raised to the power of x multiplied by the natural logarithm for a. And the last one will be a raised to the power function of x will be a raised to the power function of x multiplied by the natural logarithm of a multiplied by the derivative of the function of x. Keep in note that a here is a constant. As long as it is positive numbers, it is good, but if it's negative, it cannot be applied. Let's start with the examples. Derivative of e raised to the power of x. Now, the explanation on why is still the same of its derivative. Let's use its chain rule. Now, in this chain rule, you will get e raised to the power function of x multiplied by the derivative of the function of x. So, according to this formula, we'll get e raised to the power of x and multiply it by the derivative of x, which is 1. So the final answer would be still e raised to the power of x, which brings us here. Y equals 3 multiplied by e raised to the power of x, and y equals e raised to the power of x plus 7. Y prime here would be just 3 e raised to the power of x. It doesn't affect it. Y prime here in this case would be derivative of e raised to the power of x would still be e raised to the power of x, but the derivative of 7, which is a constant, is always 0. So this will be the answer. Now, let's try this example. Y prime of e raised to the power of 2x. Let's base this according to this chain rule formula for exponential. Let's take first the initial function e raised to the power of 2x multiplied by the derivative of the function of x, which is 2x. Derivative of 2x is 2. Thus, the final answer will be 2e raised to the power of 2x. For this, y prime for e raised to the power of x squared will be e raised to the power of x squared multiplied by the derivative of x squared, which is 2x. For this, y prime of e raised to the power of 3x plus 5 will be e raised to the power of 3x plus 5 multiplied by the derivative of 3x plus 5, which is 3. Final answer would be 3e raised to the power of 3x plus 5. For this, e raised to the power of 4x squared plus 2x. Still the same, just copy the initial function and multiply it by the derivative of this. So you will get 8x plus 2. Final answer would be 2 plus 8x e raised to the power of 4x squared plus 2x. Now, let's try this example using this formula. Now, keep in mind a here is a constant. Well, it is a positive constant. If it's negative, don't do it. So, according to the formula, the derivative of 2 raised to the power of x will be 2 raised to the power of x multiplied by ln of a. In this case, a here is 2. For this, 5 raised to the power of x will be still 5 raised to the power of x multiplied by ln of 5. For the derivative of 10 raised to the power of x will be 10 raised to the power of x multiplied by natural logarithm of 10. Same as true with this. Derivative of 20 raised to the power of x is 20 raised to the power of x multiplied by natural logarithm of 20. Now, let's solve this. This will be according to this formula of a raised to the power function of x. Now, the derivative of 2 raised to the power of 3x will be 2 raised to the power of 3x multiplied by the natural logarithm of a, which is 2, and multiply this by the derivative of the function, which is 3x. Derivative of this will be 3. The final answer would be 6 raised to the power of 3x ln of 2. Derivative of 5x squared will be 5 raised to the power of x squared ln of 5 multiplied by derivative of x squared, which is 2x. The final answer can be that, but you can multiply this together. Now, derivative of 7 raised to the power of 2x plus 1 will be 7 raised to the power of 2x plus 1 multiplied by the natural logarithm of 7 multiplied by the derivative of 2x plus 1, which is 2. Simplify this, you will get 14 raised to the power of 2x plus 1 multiplied by the natural logarithm of 7. Y prime of 3 raised to the power of 2x squared will be 3 raised to the power of 2x squared multiplied by the natural logarithm of 3 multiplied by the derivative of 2x squared, which is 4 of x. Let's try these two examples that will use quotient rule and is a mix of trigo or any function. Y prime now here would be the formula for product rule, in case you forgot, is the derivative of u multiplied by v is u multiplied by v prime plus v multiplied by u prime, or the derivative of v and the derivative of u. Let's start. According to the formula, copy what is u here. In this case, x here will be u and e raised to the power of x will be the v. So, copy u first, which is x squared multiplied by the derivative of v, which is ex, is still e raised to the power of x, plus v here multiplied by the derivative of u, which is 2x. Simplify this further and you will get x squared e raised to the power of x plus 2x e raised to the power of x. In this case, let sin x here be u and e raised to the power of x be v. Y prime now here would be sin of x multiplied by derivative of e raised to the power of x is still the same, plus e raised to the power of x multiplied by the derivative of sin of x will be cosine of x. The final answer would be sine x e raised to the power of x plus cosine of x multiplied by e raised to the power of x. Let's try exponential functions with using quotient rule. The formula for derivative quotient rule here would be the derivative of u over v will be v multiplied by u prime minus u multiplied by v prime over v squared. Now, we can assign values in order to simplify the equation. U here in this case would be e raised to the power of x, and u prime now here would be derivative of e raised to the power of x, which is the same. V here in this case will be x, and derivative of x is simply 1. Now plug this according to the formula, you will get x multiplied by u prime minus u multiplied by v prime over v squared. Final answer would be x multiplied by e raised to the power of x minus e raised to the power of x divided by x squared. In this case, u here will be cosine of x. Derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. V here will be e raised to the power of 2x, and derivative of this will be e raised to the power of 2x multiplied by derivative of 2x is 2. So, it's 2 multiplied by e raised to the power of 2x. Y prime now here would be e raised to the power of 2x multiplied by u prime, which is negative sine of x, minus cosine of x multiplied by v prime, which is 2e raised to the power of 2x over e raised to the power of 2x squared. Final answer would be negative sine x e raised to the power of 2x minus 2 cosine of x e raised to the power of 2x over e raised to the power of 2x squared.